Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Fabian, the Paper Flipper, and today I want to go over the cold call flow. So how does a cold call flow from the very beginning? And we're going to start with, I got my tablet here, hopefully y'all can see the whiteboard. We're going to start with number one, which is the introduction. So the introduction is once you bypass, like, hey, my name is Fabian, I'm looking for the homeowner. Once you identify that it's the homeowner, hey, I'm calling about your property on Smith Street. Just wanted to see if you consider an offer. So once you confirm the owner, confirm the property address, and confirm that they want to sell, you go into the introduction. So I guess the beginning is the pre-introduction, and this is the introduction where they're getting a lot of calls throughout the day, especially if it's a pre-foreclosure lead. Hundreds of people are calling them. So the introduction part is where you're gonna lay out and explain exactly what your company does. So in our case, we want to keep it very local. Hey, before we get into any numbers or talk about the property, just so you know how we work. My name is Fabian. It's a family business out of Leak City. They're cash buyers. We have great references with their title company, which we do, and that's a must. If you have a good title company that you use a lot, you can leverage that. Obviously, the title company is gonna love more business, so they don't mind if the seller calls them. So yes, I have good references with the title company. We pay out cash, buying as is condition, so you don't need to clean up. You don't need to do anything. Pretty much, you want to come in and just hassle-free as possible. So yeah, you give your pitch. Doesn't have to be robotic. Doesn't have to be scripted. Just be you, just have a normal conversation and just tell them what you do. The more that you can offer, the better. So after the introduction, we go into uncovering the 4 pillars. So those 4 pillars are the most important thing in this conversation. Brent Daniels, this is where I got that from. So the 4 pillars are CTP. So after the introduction, after you tell them exactly who you are, we're gonna go in to uncover the 4 pillars. So the first pillar would be the reason. So if it's a pre-foreclosure, if it's a probate, doesn't matter what type of lead it is, the reason is what's gonna start the conversation by simply asking, hey, Mr. Homeowner, Mrs. Homeowner, so I know I called you out of the blue, appreciate you giving me your time, so what's the reason you're selling? And that pretty much is gonna start the conversation. So the idea is to build a rapport, have a genuine conversation, and forget about the script, forget about everything else, forget about the numbers. Right now, what you wanna do is uncover these 4 pillars. Number one is being the reason. So even if we already know there's an auction date, even if we know that it's a probate, somebody passed away, you're gonna ask, hey, so catch me up to speed. Where are you at with everything? I think Pace Morby's line, catch me up to speed. So what can you tell me about the property? So right there, they're gonna uncover why they're selling and the reason for the motivation. So number 2, we got the condition of the property. Excuse my horrible handwriting. So once we get the reason, we go into the condition. Okay, so appreciate you telling me a little bit, of why you're looking to sell. So I see here, always pull up the information, whether it's Zillow, you can use PropWire, it's free. Paid program, we use Propelio. You want to see when they bought the property and like, hey, so Mr. Homeowner, Mrs. Homeowner, I see here you bought the property back in 2008. What can you tell me about it? And again, you're gonna let them talk. So it's the less you can talk, the better. You want 90% of the conversation to be the homeowner, and you just actively be listening to everything they're saying. So the condition, and as far as the condition, I just go, what can you tell me about the big ticket items? And those big ticket items are your roof, your foundation, your electrical, plumbing, and your AC. So hey, can you tell me anything that I need to know or be aware of with those big ticket items? Has the AC been serviced, or when's the last time the AC has been serviced? Do you notice any type of foundation cracks, any kind of leaks, any problems with the electrical, the roof? Have you replaced it? If so, does it have warranty? So the more you can extract, the better. Because the idea is before we make any offer, we do any of that, we want to make sure we extract at least 3 out of these 4 pillars. From the condition, we talked about the big ticket items. Next, if it's an older home, hey, so have the kitchen and the bathrooms been remodeled since you last bought it? If so, what have you done? Did you put some tile down? Did you put some granite, change countertops? Again, let them talk. But the more information we can get about the property, about the motivation, about the whole story overall, the better we can come in and see what's the best solution for them. So the idea is for us to just offer as much value, whether we go cash, creative. At the end of the day, we just want to present everything possible to them and let them decide. So once we get the condition, we go to number 3, which is the timeline. Okay, so thank you for giving me a little bit of information about the property. So, we can make this work, and we can make this a win-win, and we can come up with numbers that make sense for everybody. How quickly are you looking to get this done? We can close in 2 weeks. Is that enough time? You never know. They might need a lease back for 30 days. Maybe it's a big family. They got kids. They got to figure it out. Could be a foreclosure. But yeah, just do your due diligence. We do lease backs, 30 days, nothing crazy. You don't want to put yourself in a bad situation. But asking about the timeline is very important. So again, hey, so if we can come to an agreement that makes sense for everybody, how quickly are you looking to get this done? Can we close this in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks? The sooner the better, obviously, for us. Remember, value, value, value. So pillar number 4 would be the price. And again, I don't throw a number out. I don't throw blind offers unless I get 3 out of these 4 pillars. Because if you're going to start just throwing blind offers, and a lot of people do, you're probably not going to make it far in this game. You want to educate yourself with ARVs, after repair values, rehab costs. They're all guesstimates as a wholesaler, but you can know roughly what a kitchen costs to remodel, a roof, some plumbing, some foundation. You have to have a general idea, because if you want to be different than everybody else, you want to be a different wholesaler and add as much value as possible. You want to make sure you know what you're doing. But yeah, with the price, again, I don't throw a number out unless we get 3 out of these 4 pillars. And you'll get a lot of sellers where they're hardball and they tell you, well, you call me, what's your offer? So we never want to throw a number out. We always want to try to extract a number from the homeowner first. Hey, so appreciate you giving me all this information, Mr. Homeowner, Mrs. Homeowner. Do you have a number in mind? Have you talked to anybody? Have you talked to your neighbors? Have you talked to real estate agent, friend that you might have? I mean, do you have a number in mind? Normally when we speak to somebody that's ready to sell, they have a number in mind, and we don't want to waste each other's time. That way I know where you're at, I can let you know where we're at, and we'll go from there. So yeah, if you can get a number from them, the better. Now, the ones that are hardballing and they're like, well, you call me, you give me your number, what we're gonna do is throw a range. So never throw an exact number. So if your numbers come out, whether you're a 75% formula, whatever your formula is, depending on where you're at, and be like, hey, so I could be anywhere. Let's say we're gonna offer 100. Hey, so I can be anywhere from 70 to 80 to 90. How does that sound? And you're gonna let them react. So the idea is, when you throw this range, they're either gonna tell you you're way off, and that's when you respond, okay, so we don't waste more time. Where are you at exactly? I'm at 70, 80. Where are you at? So eventually they're gonna throw a number. So remember, always try to extract their number first. And if they're hardballing, you just throw a range and try to extract a counter offer from that and just work it backwards from there. So yeah, so as far as price, again, always try to get their number first. So that's uncovering the 4 pillars. Right after the introduction, we're gonna go in with the 4 pillars and start with the reason. Hey, so appreciate taking your time. So what's the reason? What, catch me up to speed. What's going on? Have you talked to agents? Have you talked to other investors? Where are you at with the process? And then you take it down to pillar number 2, number 3, and number 4. So once you uncover all this information, we're gonna go into our offer tool belt. And I kind of made that up, I guess. And when I mean offer tool belt, you always want to go cash first. Cash, 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 and then creative. I heard that in a podcast, I forgot who said it, but cash, 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 and then creative. So we have this tool belt, and the idea is for us to just provide as much value and provide the correct solution to whatever problem they have. So we're going to throw the cash offer. Now, if it's a pre-foreclosure, maybe they owe a lot on the back payments, maybe they just recently bought it, and we know cash is not going to work no matter how hard we try, well, then we turn it into a creative solution. We turn it into a subject to, but like, hey, we've ran our numbers. I'm sure all these offers you're getting, none of them are going to work because you probably owe around this range, and we always throw a range, and we can get this information online. You probably owe about 200, properties worth 200. I'm sure everybody's coming in the 120s to 140s cash, and I know that's not going to work because you're not going to make any. You're actually going to bring money to the closing table. So we do have a program, and I always offer it as a program. We do have a program called the LAP program, the loan assignment program, where we come in, simply step into your shoes, continue your payments, catch up the arrears, and stop the foreclosure. So it's all about getting creative. But don't start getting creative right away. Don't start throwing creative offers unless the cash offer really doesn't work. And again, your offer might not work for them. Another investor might come in who might use private money instead of hard money. Maybe they'll be able to pay a little bit more. Maybe they're going to keep it as a rental. Maybe they're going to do a lighter rehab than you. Maybe everybody has a different exit strategy. Some people that pay really low, they don't pay no more than 50, 60 cents on the dollar. You got investors that are buying in the 80, 85%. Again, everybody has a different strategy. There's no right or wrong. But yeah, you want to go into your offer tool belt and just see what's the best solution for the scenario. We went over the 4 pillars. That's where we figure out exactly what the motivation is, reason, condition, and everything. Are they really motivated? Because again, you don't want to be wasting time with tire kickers. If they want to sell in the next 6 months, 3 months, don't waste your time. Polite, say, hey, we can definitely follow up in 2-3 months, and just keep it on a follow-up. You want to be talking to the people who are ready to sell in the next 30 days. So yeah, so we're going down the cold call flow. Again, we started with the introduction, over the 4 pillars. Again, that's the most important thing. The 4 pillars, like the most important thing throughout the whole call flow. Next, we went into our offer tool belt. We decided whether cash or creative is going to be the best solution to them. And all we can do is offer it to them. We can never convince somebody to sell. All we can do is like, hey, this is what we can do cash, this is what we can do creative, and now we can help you list it. If not, we can help you refer you to something. I don't know. As long as you lay out all their options, most likely they're going to pick one. And it really comes down to building the rapport and if they feel like they like you or not. I mean, it's just as simple as that. You can't force a deal. You can't convince somebody to take your offer. They don't like you, they don't like you. It's that simple. And next, once we decide exactly what type of offer we're going to make, we call flow number 4 would be your offer presentation, whether they accept it or might follow up in a day or 2. So I always try to get their email before the end of the conversation, because unless you're experienced and you can make these offers over the phone, it's ideal to lock these over the phone. A lot of times they want, to speak to their significant other. They want to think about it. We're shopping it around. So I always get their email and I make sure that whatever I'm going to offer, I'm going to email it to them. I'm going to call them when I send them the email and be like, hey, I sent you the offer. You don't have to sign it. I just want you to read it over and let me know what you think. Can you call me later on today after you're in an hour or 2? Just get creative. So get their email. You always want to send that offer out. And then if they accept it, they accept it. If they got to talk it over, put it on a follow-up. Then they're not ready, well, just follow up. Like, you just can't force a deal. But as long as you come in professional and you come in sounding like you know what you're doing and really come in with the facts. Because a lot of people just throw a random number. They don't really know why they're throwing the number. Like, hey, I'm throwing you this number because, 1, these are the comps. I would be happy to email them to you. I can send you a text right now with all the comps. This is the ones that sold in your neighborhood. This is why it sold. This is what I'm going to have to do with it based on what you told me. So as long as you can come in with your offer, present the facts of why you're offering what you're offering. And again, if the cash route doesn't work and you have to go creative, this is why I think creative is the best route. This is how it's going to work. I lay it out to them. I paint the picture. That's what you want to do. You want to paint the picture. But at the end of the day, they're going to decide whether they want to work with you or not. And sometimes these homeowners, they go with the highest offer. They think the highest offer is the best solution, but sometimes the highest offer doesn't mean shit. Could be a brand new wholesaler making the highest offer and they don't even know what they're doing. So yeah, so that's kind of the flow of a cold call. Again, the introduction, uncovering the 4 pillars, very important in this part. Don't never throw a number unless you know 3 out of these 4 pillars. Next is your offer tool belt, cash, then creative. Obviously, if there's arrears and they just bought it and there's no equity, probably cash is not going to work. So you have to go creative. And then your offer presentation, get their email. If you're experienced and you can get somebody with experience on a 3-way, and try to lock it up on the spot because competition is fierce right now. And you just want to be different than everybody else. Get their email, make the offer, and follow up until they tell you, hey, it's going to work. Hey, I think we need to renegotiate, or hey, this is not going to work at all. Well, yeah. Just wanted to go over the cold call flow so y'all can understand exactly what it takes every time you're making these calls to these random people. And it's simple. Don't overthink it. Have a normal conversation. Pretend you're talking to a friend. And the better rapport you build, the better chance you have on getting a deal. So yeah, appreciate y'all watching. If you're new, let me know what you think. If y'all have any questions I can answer regarding wholesaling, creative, sub 2, anything, I'm here to help. So yeah. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.